So
Fantastic. It's good to have you on board.
thank
So
you.
I can see some more people are joining as well. And how is everything going on your side, Amir? How's your course going?
Well, I got back to it yesterday night only. I had a really busy week at work, my job, and I was preparing that certification, that AI practitioner certification. So I had really, really little time to work
Yeah, how was
on it
the
because
AWS AI certification? Did you find it difficult compared to the other one?
uh, I never did any other practitioner level one. I only did the associate cloud solutions architect associate level. Compared to it, it's way easier, of course, but I could say that the questions were kind of tricky for a practitioner level. They try to trick you many times. That's what I can say about it. But the resources I used were quite useful. The practice and the Stephen Marek's course, they they pretty much cover many aspects of the exam. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, that's great stuff. I mean,
it was doable.
at least you're a bit ahead from the competition because it's a brand new certification in the market.
Yeah,
And I mean, the reason I haven't done it is simply is because it's brand new, and I don't really jump onto things which are brand new. The way I do it, I want them to, get more stabilized in the market. So when I know that the industry is heavily using it now, so that's when I jump on it and I think, okay, now I should, upgrade or maybe learn a bit about it before I jump on. So
yeah,
I can
but
see we have
it's
around 20 people joining. Um, any admin wants to volunteer to become a host, so while I do the session, they can admit people if they join late. Anyone wants to? Okay, I can see Nilofer raising her hand. So let me see if I can make you a co-host. Nilofer. Okay, yeah, there we go. Hang on. Right. Put everyone. Da, 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 da. There you go. You're the host now. Can you see the host notification popping up, Nilofer? Perfect. Thank you. Just keep the participants section open. So in case if anyone joins in, you can admit them in. Cool. So I'm gonna share my screen so you all can see the screen, what we will be discussing today. Right. I'm gonna turn my video off for now. So just bear with me a second. Bear with me a second. Sorry, I got too many windows open and I'm only using two screens today. Hmm. Sorry, my Windows has decided to act up in the last minute, so I'm just trying to get that fixed.
We've all been there.
That's the beauty of technology, when you wanted to use it the most, that's when it starts playing up. Hmm. Or it's just lagging a bit because I got my documents on the cloud and it's just taking its time to load up. Right. Yep. So, hi everyone. So today I want to dive into something very important, very crucial, something that many of us overlook and ignore, but it's actually the secret to real results in our career in IT, especially when it comes to how to learn. This isn't just about collecting certificates. Trust me, it's about mastering the process of learning, the art of learning. And once you get this, it will take your IT career to a whole another level. So let's go and let's talk about this. So I used to be terrified of failure, to be very honest. I'd get stuck thinking, what if I fail? What if people think I don't know what I'm doing? Or what if a technical manager questions me areas where I have no answer? And I know some of you might feel the same, right? Well, let me tell you something. There came a point where I realized that failing while trying is better than standing still out of fear. Yeah. So let me give you an example from my own journey. I once felt very overwhelmed by a ton of information out there in the market, especially nowadays. We have AI and machine learning and new tools coming every day. People are saying, "Oh, you should leave AWS, you should learn GCP. Oh, you should leave Azure, you should learn AWS. Oh, you should leave cloud, you should learn cybersecurity." And it just felt like too much. But my mentor pulled me aside and said, Ali, you need to slow down. You need to focus on the right information, the kind of information that will actually give you the result that you really need. So stop learning everything and focus on what will actually give you the result. So now let me share my screen. And please let me know once my screen is visible. So
It
can you
is.
see my
Yeah.
screen?
Yep,
Yes,
we,
it's
we can see.
visible.
Fantastic. So as you all know, we are a Cloud Whistler community, a community of like-minded people, people who want to learn and not just learn, but be different from the competitive market nowadays. Because a lot of people are moving into cloud nowadays, right? Okay, let me move on to the next slide. And now it's not letting me move on to the next slide. Fantastic. Okay, now it is. So today is day 4, guys. Today we will be talking about mindset required in IT to have a successful and a growing career. And as you already know, we have a few admins. I'm Ali. I started my journey in IT around 7 years ago, and this is I'm talking professionally, non-professionally. I've been in IT since I was a kid. When I was in school, I used to make chatbots for my school channels. We used to have a social media called MIRC. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar from those days, but those are the days when we had floppy disk and we had a modem internet from wired with the telephone and where we had to, manually connect the internet. So I am from those days. And yes, I've used Windows XP as well. I'm sure you guys must have used that as well. And I started my journey in help desk, and I quickly realized that if I stay stuck in help desk, I'm going to stay in help desk for the rest of my life. So I started connecting with my senior colleagues. I started asking them if they have 5 to 10 minutes on lunchtime, so I can see what skills did they learn to get the network engineer position, system engineer position, infrastructure engineer position, security position. So I started having a one-to-one meeting with them all. I actually made an Excel sheet and sat down with them and learned what I need to focus on. And then I made a really good connection with the network team, with the network manager. So I requested him if I could shadow your department, and I started shadowing the network team. And I realized that networking skills is my natural talent, and I started diving more into network servers, and that's where my career changed. And I became from help desk to a technical support engineer. And from there, after 2 years, I got promoted to a senior technical engineer. Well, then I decided to go for my CCNA, MCSA, and a few other certifications. And then I got promoted working as a senior level 2 engineer. So which means I had level 1 under me, so where I was training, doing one-to-ones, also sometimes taking interviews and stuff. So that's me. I mean, I'm still learning. Learning never stops for me, because if you're in IT and you want to have a beautiful growing career, you will always need to, upgrade yourself, just how doctors and lawyers need to, because the laws get changed. There are new diseases coming in the world, like COVID-19. So doctors have to, always stay updated. Lawyers have to stay updated. And same with IT engineers, we have to stay updated with the latest technologies. We have another admin called Amir. Amir is in California. He's not in the session right now, so I can't introduce him to you guys. But when he is, he'll be able to introduce himself. Yvonne is here. Yvonne, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I've been in tech support engineering for let's say 10 plus years, maybe 15. And I started teaching people how to use computers. So that's how I got into it. And oh, by the way, my background is biology. So I was a biologist for a couple of years, and then I realized, yeah, this is not for me. And then when I started dabbling into computers, I realized, yep, that's what I like to do. For the past 10 years, I've been working for a biotech company, supporting scientists. And so my forte is troubleshooting, working with software, hardware, server management. Actually, I had the same title for 10 years, and I did probably 15 different things: server management, desktop support, acquisition manager when we acquired a company. So that title is deceiving because I did a lot. So yeah, that's my background. Passionate about technology. By the way, I had upgrade my skills, just like Ali said, to move on into the cloud. So it was a natural progression. When I saw, the trend going to the cloud, that's time to upgrade. And by the way, I'm always thinking about upgrading my skills. Of course, you're always learning. So that's my background.
That's beautiful, Yvonne. There is always something new I learn about you every time you introduce yourself. And this is the beauty of the community. That's why we have these sessions. So we can continuously introduce ourselves. So let's say we go for another job, we will know how to exactly place ourselves and position ourselves and speak about ourselves. I mean, we are looking for more admins. So if you want to be part of the team, give us a shout. We also have Sana. Sana's from Pakistan. If Sana, you're in the session, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, myself Sana. Yes, Ali, I would like to introduce myself. I started my career in IT field by doing some diplomas in cybersecurity, computer information systems, and I skilled myself in Linux specifically. And now I am a solutions engineer in a firm, CSPR, and nowadays like I'm working on Genesis. Genesis is basically a customer service support, and this is all what I do there.
Thank you, Sana.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sana. Are there any other admins on the call like to? Oh yeah, I see Nilofer. Nilofer, would you like to go next?
Sure, Ali. Hi, everybody. I'm Nilofer, and I've moved to Canada a year back. And back in India, I was a cloud engineer, and I was working with one of the top car manufacturing company. And just like Ali and Yuan, I also started as a help desk engineer, and then I moved on into cloud technology. Currently learning a lot of things related to DevOps and experimenting things with DevOps as well. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Kamalpreet, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. So my name is Kamalpreet Kaur. I live in France and I came from a technical background. I started my career doing masters in France as well. Then I tried to speak more language as well. So I studied French as well. After that, I did a master's in project management and networks. So basically, I came from a networking background. Then my first job was a level 2 technical support engineer. And now I'm working as a IT content writer. So for the moment, I'm on non-technical side, but I would like to shift to technical side as a cloud engineer.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Kamalpreet. Kamalpreet is making a lot of noise nowadays on Medium and LinkedIn, by the way. She's getting some attention from some global companies as well who are, giving her a clap on Medium and reposting her articles. So even I like her technical articles, and she is one of the winner from the challenge as well. Yvonne, Nilofer, Kamalpreet, Amir, Augustine, Rajpreet. Well, I think I mentioned everyone. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Sparing me a second. So today's agenda. So today we'll dive into what's so often ignored but very crucial for results in your IT career, the process of learning and how to learn effectively. By the end of today's session, you'll have a fresh perspective on learning that will not only accelerate your IT career, but also change how you absorb and apply new information in any area of your life. So traditional methods of learning focus on information overload, leading to burnout. But today I'm going to introduce you to how the brain works, best strategies, how you can move from memorization to true comprehensive, and how that will propel your career. So number one, mindset required in IT, unhack the secrets. Can you please mute your mic? It's just disturbing the session. Thank you. Number two, shifting focus, learning what works. Get your hands dirty with our new guided. Sorry, that's not meant to be there. Number three, breaking old habits and rewiring your brain.
सिर्फ 1 मिनट
Implementing.
हो रहे हैं हमें
Sorry, can you please mute your mic? Nilofer, can you please mute whoever is making that noise?
Yeah,
Okay.
done.
Breaking old habits and rewiring your brain, implementing the correct learning strategy, maximizing career progression, and in the end, we'll go for and if anyone has any questions. So we'll start with fact number one. So did you guys know your mind is made up with over 100 billion tiny cells called neurons? And these cells transmit and process information using electrical signals. Neurons connect with each other and form neural networks. So, when we are learning AWS on a regular basis, it's actually connecting a network of neurons in our brains, and it's storing information bit by bit. And once we are consistent and we repeat the process, our brain starts to communicate with the hippocampus. Hippocampus is in our brain, which decides which information is critical. So, when you do something and you keep repeating something, your brain classifies automatically that this information is important for the user and is critical. Just how our computer, our CPU has a way of working, so do our brain. So fact number two, the more connections there are to a neuron, the less likely it will fade away. So the more you dive deep about a topic and is actually making sense to you, there will be less chances of it to fade away. This is the way the brain knows if it is critical or not. Fact number three. So by creating more stories, you can overcome these disasters we fail nowadays. So this will all make sense to you in the next slides when I talk about it in detail. So number one, whatever you learn, you need to document it. Number two, you need to do a project on it, and then you need to document it in a knowledge-based technical project. Number three, make a video about it. Number four, teach it to yourself or someone in your house. And this way you will create a neuron of networks, and then your brain will know, hey, this information is critical for me. And what will happen next? It will stay in your long-term memory, not short-term memory, because whatever you're gonna learn in today's session, it might stay with you for 15, 20 minutes, but if you're taking notes and if you think this is very important and you put some emotions into it, it can actually convert into a long-term memory. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. So biggest mistake we make. What is the biggest mistake we make? So the biggest mistake we all make is that we think we need to learn everything or know everything. How big of a domain is cloud and DevOps, right? I mean, cloud has got servers, it's got database, it's got security, it's got networks, it's got coding languages, it's got machine learning, it's got AI. So do you think if you learn everything, that's when you will go for a job? No. So the best way to do this is open a job place, like for example, Indeed or LinkedIn, and search for a job local to you. So for example, cloud engineer, right? See what are the requirements, what skills are they asking you for? And then you can create your own roadmap like that. Okay, I want to work for Apple, or I want to work for Oracle, or I want to work for Cisco, or I want to work for this finance company, or I want to work for this health department. Do research and see what type of cloud technologies are they using, and then start studying on that instead of being all over the place and trying to learn everything. And then when you go for the job market, you realize, hey, the main skills which they require are missing. And then you go back to ground zero. So the learning process on how to learn. Great. So traditional methods of learning focus on information over leads to, burnouts. And today we will be going through how to learn, change the way you approach new knowledge, focus on comprehension, not consumption, because you can only consume a bit. In other words, focus on what will actually give you results. Selective learning for targeted results. Learn to process information and not just to memorize it. So let me also give you this quote. So learning to learn something is not as powerful as learning to do something. So that's the kind of mindset you guys need. So what mindset? Let me repeat this again. Learning to learn something is not as powerful as learning to do something with it. So you can learn a technology all day long, but it won't be as powerful unless you can do something with it and make a difference project-wise, innovation-wise, and making a real difference. So let me change the slide and go to the next slide. So let me break this down before I go on to the next slide. So the way you're approaching learning might be working against you. Most people focus on consuming content rather than comprehending it. But if you're just trying to absorb everything, you'll definitely end up overwhelmed and frustrated. So instead, the goal is selective learning. Identify what's useful and how it applies to your future job. Our brain is wired to filter out irrelevant information to avoid cognitive overload. By focusing on the material that directly relates to your tasks, you'll only remember more, but also apply it effectively. And there is a scientific fact on this as well. So selective learning taps into the brain prefrontal cortex. So there is a cortex in your brain which selects that information, which governs decision making and prioritizing knowledge. The brain is designed to discard what isn't immediately useful. So directing your attention to relevant material speeds up learning. Let me move on to the next slide. So I have an exercise for you all, guys, before we move on to the next slide. So open a Google page, and I want you all to do some research and spend only 2 minutes on each section. And I want you to research about what is memory association. And then once you've done that, I want you to research on what is memory markers. Once you've done that, I want you to research on what is memory hangers. So I will give you guys 5 minutes to do this research. You just start pasting in chat once you've got a line for what you found regarding it. I can see some really good definitions coming in the chat. So Sana shared memory association is the ability to learn and remember the relationship between unrelated items. Irfan wrote associative memory refers to the ability to remember relationships between concepts. Augustine Augustine shared the ability to remember relationships between concepts and not just the individual concept themselves. Anuradha shared memory association is the ability to learn and remember the relationship between unrelated items. This would include, for example, remembering the name of someone, of the aroma of a particular perfume. Yvonne wrote memory association relationship. Sorry, I can't see it. Something's coming in the way. Relationship to memory stored. Amir pasted. Memory makers are key points or cues that serve as triggers for recalling related information. These markers act like mental landmarks that help retrieve larger sets of data based on a specific detail. Yeah, fantastic. So now you guys have an idea of what memory association is and what memory markers is and what memory hangers are. So where do we use these? So we need to use these every time you're learning a new technology. We need to use this every time we're going for an interview and we're trying to prepare our interview. So we can recall that information in the interview, right? Who wins the interview? Someone who's sounding more natural or someone who's reading out notes? Obviously, someone who sounds more natural talking about an issue. And how can that work? If you start using your memory association, memory markers, memory hangers. So what do you do with association? So let's say they ask you, hi, can you give us a scenario where you faced a technical issue and the whole team struggled with it, and you was the one who was leading the issue and troubleshooted the issue? How did you work on that issue? What steps did you take? And what was the outcome of it? So if they ask a question like that, you'll be lost. But if you use these three techniques, you'll always have a story backed up in the back of your mind. And then you can recall that information. How about associating a big issue you faced or a story you made while working on a project? When you faced technical challenges, how did you overcome that? So you can make a story on that. And then you make a memory marker of it. Then you make a memory hanger of it. And in that way, you are more different than the competition who will be interviewing after you. In this way, the recruiter will remember you even after the interview. Hey, you know what? So far, I like Kamalpreet because the way she mentioned it, it just made so much sense. And I can see myself working with her, right? Then there will be so many other people answering question the same way. Oh yeah, in my previous company, we faced this issue. No, that's not how you do it. You make it engaging. You connect with them. So how do you connect with them? So you ask them a question. You start by asking them a question. So for example, do you guys use AWS? And do you know there are a few areas in AWS which if they go wrong, for example, like a S3 bucket, if it's not configured properly, it can take the whole platform down. And they will agree to it. Once they agree, that's it, you've got the chance. Now you say, great. So this is a kind of issue I faced in my previous project where we were working on a project and our team member didn't configure the S3 properly. And then I had to troubleshoot, investigate the whole area of what went wrong. So, you've already made the managed team lead or the technical interviewer agree before you even tell your story. He's already interested in what you're going to say. That makes a lot of difference. Because nowadays, when a company opens a job, thousands of people apply it, right? And 90% of them, they all sound the same. And they only pick from the 5% who sound genuine and authentic and the way they speak, which makes more sense to them, and they'll pick them. So now this exercise has demonstrated how these techniques can improve retention and how they can apply directly to your IT journey. Fantastic. So let's move on to the next slide. So what are the common issues in today's era? So let me talk about the issues first. Information overload. You open YouTube, there is something new popping up every day. Someone is sharing a new roadmap every single day. And then you start comparing it to your roadmap and you think, hey, I might need to learn that as well. And then in that way, you don't learn anything. Daily trends and YouTube courses on YouTube coming for free. And also, some people think, hey, I'm in my 40s. I don't have 5 years just to study this. And then high competition, and then unsatisfactory results. And then when we get excited, when we see AWS, Azure, and GCP announcing a course like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and we feel like, yeah, we need to do that. We need to get that done. So you know what you're doing? You're not focusing on what will get you the job, and you start focusing on something which is only distracting you. So there is a time and a place for each area. You can't become a cybersecurity before becoming an IT engineer. Or you can't become a cloud engineer before knowing how the IT infrastructure works. You cannot become an artificial intelligence engineer or a machine learning engineer if you don't know how the algorithms work, right? So fundamentals are key, guys, and it's very easy to get distracted and look at stories which are more interesting. But when you do it, you also lose focus on the areas which matter the most, and you start looking at things which excites you the most. And to be very honest, that's not how the industry works. And another common issue which every human is designed to have is the I know better mentality. That I know what I'm doing. I know how it works. Instead of networking with a senior IT manager or a senior team lead, we start making our own decision. Okay, I need to do this. I need to do that. Did you know when I made my roadmap, I connected with maybe like 10 team leads of that department I'm interested in? And I made notes on what I should focus on. And I asked them exactly the questions of how I can, elevate my career and become a successful cloud engineer. And then they told me, Ali, you need to know this, you need to know that. But before anything, you just need to focus on these two things. Once you've done this, you can then move on to this thing. And that's how I knew that this will give me result because it's in the industry. And who am I getting the advice from? Experts from the industry. I'm not going on YouTube, someone who's sharing of what they like. No, I want to work on technology, what I like. But if I like a technology, I need to speak to someone who's an expert in that area. So what to do? So too much information isn't the problem. Lack of focus and awareness is. So you're not focused and you're not aware of how to actually retain or how to actually go about it. So what I just told you on how you can get it done is by connecting with the industry experts. Avoid being sidetracked by AI, ML, or other trends. Narrow down to key knowledge and achieve clarity on your next steps. The steps I told you, how you need to connect with the industry experts. You can see people on LinkedIn, you can see the job titles, and if you think they're a team lead or they're a senior cloud engineer, send them a message. Send them a message. Tell them you're interested in learning more about their role and their department. Or maybe you can use ChatGPT to give you better lines on how to communicate that. So career stagnation. So time to question yourself. The struggles of sideways movement. So these are the questions we need to ask ourselves. Are you moving forward or just working hard? Are you getting results or just moving sideways? Without the right strategy, effort can feel like stagnation, like nothing is happening. What is the solution? Be more aware. Once you have a roadmap, once you have a detailed plan of action, stay focused and do actionable and accountable learning. Make daily tasks. You can't do six tasks at the same day. So make like maybe 2 tasks a day. So you can tick mark them off every day. Okay, I've done this. Yes, I've done this. Tomorrow I will focus on this. You can't do 6 things at the same time. That's your brain will auto reject that. It might take it, but it will only go in your short-term memory, not your long-term memory. So be mindful of that. The problem with traditional learning, and guess what? We've all went to school, right? School never taught us how to actually learn. They only read things out, presented it, okay, you need to get this done. But they actually never told us on how to actually learn. So that is so funny that school doesn't teach us. But it's a real world fact. So memory-based education leads to MCQ success, but career failures. And why do I say that? So the reason I say this is because there are many people in the world who are certified. And I'm talking about MCQ exam-based certifications. They all have passed it, but they don't have a job. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know the process of job applying. They don't know how to reach out to a recruiter. And even if they get a first call, they don't have a story to introduce themselves. And then they start thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe I should just leave this and go back to working in McDonald's because I think that's the only thing which works for me. I tried studying IT, but didn't work for me because you were using your I know better mentality. You didn't connect with anyone. You didn't take anyone's guidance. You didn't have a mentor. You didn't have a coach. And that's why you went back to ground zero. So you need to understand how your brain works, not just memorize answers. Employers want deeper comprehension and demonstration. They don't want certifications. I know Walmart, all the team leads, none of them has certification and they are team leads. I know people in help desk, they have certifications and they're still going for it, thinking that will give us more jobs or maybe a promotion. Yes, you can do that, but then there is a way of how you can make your certification valuable. A piece of paper won't give you a job. That's guaranteed. So why do so many people struggle after getting certified? It's because traditional learning doesn't teach us how to apply that knowledge, how to communicate that knowledge. And school teaches memorization, but in the IT world, that's not enough. In the real world, that's not enough. You can learn about being a doctor and you can do a 7 years degree on becoming a professional doctor, but they won't allow you to go on operation unless they know that you can definitely not put others people's life at risk. So they see your demonstration on toy bodies, animals, etc. And that's when they decide, okay, I think this person is more capable enough to go on site. So this is the most important one, guys. This is the most important one, and I went through this myself. And I actually go through it every year. So we need to break our old habits. We need to rewire our brains. So the old habits that worked in school won't work in your career. And the old habit, like I know better, I know what I'm doing, is only going to move you sideways. It's not going to take you higher in your career. It might make you, it might give you a salary boost, like for example, from 5,000 to 6,000. But that's all that's going to happen in 10 years. So we need to break our old habits. A new learning approach is equals to career growth. And break habits that hold you back. So what's holding you back? Your old habits are holding you back. Old learning habits like note memorization are no longer serving you. IT is a fast-paced, moving field. And you need to adopt a mindset of continuous active learning. This means engaging with material, testing it in real-world scenarios, and reflecting on what works. And if something doesn't work, just take it out your dictionary and focus on what actually works in the industry. And feedback is very important. So here's the deal. It doesn't matter how amazing your course or content is. If you don't know how to process it, it won't stick. We've been trained to memorize in school, but that's not how you actually, excel in IT. If you're buying a course, hoping that alone will get you a job, you're missing the point. So let's talk about mindset now. So you've got to be aware of what you're learning, why you're learning, how it fits into the bigger picture. Most people jump on a course because social media hyped it up. But real success comes when you align your learning with your career goals and what works for the industry. Sorry about that. So you see what I'm talking about? I'm talking about reversing the process. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You can go and get a 10-year degree and still get a junior job. Or you can reverse engineer the process and go for a mid-engineer position. So destroy the bad learning habits and start adapting strategies that work. What I'm about to tell you, it will change the way you learn. And what I've been telling you, I've been getting goosebumps about it. And why? Because I know it works in the industry. I know it's giving me results. And I've been mentored about it. I've been pulled on the side. Hey, Ali, you've done this so many times. Are you still not realizing you're making the same mistake over and over again? But I turned around and said, but no, I'm correcting it. No, you're not correcting it. You're going in the same pool every time. So if you master this, managers and team leads won't just see you as another certified engineer, but as someone who they can truly rely on. End of the day, they want someone reliable. For example, they go on a holiday and you can definitely look after the task, and the VPs and the CEO of the company won't email them and say, hey, you didn't train your team properly, and they've put us in a major trouble. But listen, this doesn't happen overnight. If you're serious about leveling up, you need to drop the I know better mindset, embrace the new way of thinking, and you'll see how fast people and companies start noticing you. I know it can be frustrating, uh, I get it, especially when you feel stuck in the middle of a course, but sometimes that your brain is telling you that your approach is off and it's not for you. So ask yourself, am I doing this right? Why am I learning it? Is this what if I learn will give me a job? And what results do I expect? Do I just need to document and do test projects? We rarely stop to ask these questions. We just go, 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 do. And then in the end, we don't know what's happening. And this is why so many people pass certifications but still struggle to land a job. The modern issue is information overload, which we discussed in the previous slide. Too much info, not enough focus. And in the end, you feel like you're going nowhere. So now I want you to do a little research. So open your browser again And I want you to research on 3 types of memories, guys. And that's encoding. So type memory encoding. The second one is memory storage. And the third one is memory retrieval. And once you've got a bit, just spend not more than 2 to 5 minutes, guys, on that, please. Encoding is defined as the initial learning of information. Storage refers to maintaining information. That's great. Encoding is the act of getting information into our memory system through automatic or effortful processing. Storage is retention of the information, and retrieval is the act of getting information out of storage and into conscious awareness through recall. That's correct. So, when we are learning, so right now we all are using our conscious mind, right? So right now we are using our conscious mind, which is also known as the working mind, right? But let's say after 20 minutes, end of the session, you will still remember it for the next 15 to 20 minutes. But how can you actually turn the short-term memory into a long-term memory? So you need to put emotions into it. You need to relate it to yourself. So you know how when we watch a movie, guys, I want you all to stop doing research and stop pasting and listen to this. This is very crucial. I will give you a personal example, then I will relate to a professional example. So the personal example is, when we watch a movie, for example, Titanic. How many of you have watched Titanic? Just give a thumbs up. Everyone's watched Titanic, right? And how long was it ago that you watched Titanic? A very long time ago, right? But you still remember it. You still remember who was in there, what happened, who survived, who didn't survive. And you remember those details, right? Do you guys want to know why? Why you remember that? Because there were emotions in that movie, which your hippocampus decided that you felt it in a certain way when watching that movie. And that's why it will stay in your life, in your memory forever. And now let me give you a professional example. Let's say you work for Microsoft and there was a crowd strike downage worldwide, right? Now that is a big emotion we all went through. The company went through. We were getting backfired left and right. Some people were blaming Microsoft. Some people didn't even know that it's the third party whose fault it was. But most of the people were blaming Microsoft. And Microsoft were receiving complaints after complaints after complaints. And the CEO then made an announcement, hey, it's not us. It's CrowdStrike. Right? So why do you think everyone in that department will always remember what happened that day? Because there were emotions in that. They put emotions, they felt in a certain way. They will always remember that in their long-term memory. So the reason of me saying this is I want you all to put your heart, blood, and sweat in a project. When you're learning something, make a story about it. And if there is no story, make a flipping story about it. Go to ChatGPT and say, I worked on S3 bucket. Now give me a scenario. Let's say my team messed it up. Make a story about it, and then do it that way. Make a story about it. Put some emotions in it, and to make it more realistic, work on a project. Things will go wrong in IT. If nothing goes wrong, that scares me the most. It scares me when nothing goes wrong in IT, right? So if something goes wrong, I will remember that for the rest of my life. So let's say I have an interview and they say, Ali, can you give us a scenario for where you faced a major issue and how did you work to resolve that issue? And which issue do you think I will pick? I will pick the issue which I remember the most of my life, that, hey, that was the biggest issue I've ever faced, even if that was in technical support. Because a big issue, all teams have to get together, right? So as you can see on the new slide, right way to learn, be different, be proactive, differentiate yourself from the competition. If 20 years ago there were only 100 people applying for a job, now it's like 10,000 people applying for the same job. So how do you think they will give, if there are two positions available and thousands of people have applied, what will make you stand out from those 1,000 people? It's the storytelling. It's how you will communicate and connect with the recruiter, and how you will make them relate, and how you will question them. And before you even open your story, you will make them engage and make them agree that yes, yes, I exactly know what you're telling about. Please tell us more about that. And in that way, you become the spotlight of the interview and they become impressive. Even when you leave the room, they talk about you. Did you see the guy? Yo, we face issues like this as well. I mean, he sounds like a great fit for the company. I don't think I think we're gonna waste time interviewing other people. I don't think after interviewing this person, I don't think I want to talk to anyone else. He's filled my cappuccino cup. I don't need more cappuccino. I've had enough. So apply knowledge at work, making you stand out. This mindset shift won't just boost your career, it will change your life as well. It will make you a better person for your family as well. It will make you more organized. So we all have errands to run, we all have cleaning to do, we all have things to manage in the house. Then we also have pressure from work. Things go wrong at work. And if we take our stress out at home, this means we are living the old habits. So we need to correct those old habits. We always need to be neutral, taking a step back. Okay, let's figure a solution out. Because end of the day, who are you? You're a problem solver, right? You work in IT to solve problems, right? And you're not solving your own problems in your personal life. So how do you think you're going to solve problems when you work in a professional company? So you need to relate it and be 100% at home, be 100% at work. And find the balance between challenging and overwhelming, and progress in manageable and sustainable steps the right way. So final thoughts. Learning to learn something is not as powerful. And I'm repeating this again, I've got this again. So learning to learn something is not as powerful as learning to be able to do something with it. So we can learn AI, ML all day, but are you doing something with it? Some people have got certification in AWS DevOps and AWS data, in the AWS security. But are you doing something about it? Because it will only stay in your short-term memory if you don't do anything about it. So this mindset change will unlock a new level of results in your IT career. It will definitely make you stand out from all the competition in the world. It will also transform your personal growth. And this new approach won't just help your IT career, it will transform you how you approach everything in life. So take today's lesson, implement them, and watch your results and compound over time, right? And when I ask you guys to do research on encoding, storage, and retrieval, you guys have a better idea now. The last thing I want you guys to do research on is research on what is hippocampus and how. So type two things: what is hippocampus, and how hippocampus decides what is more important for us. So hippocampus is HIPPOCAMPUS, hippocampus. While you're doing that, I'm just going to speak about this a bit. So if you don't know how to use the encoding, storage, and retrieval correctly, is because you're operating on autopilot all the time. And your subconscious mind is not feeling very healthy about it and never really learning. And that's why you feel stuck, overwhelmed, and frustrated halfway through a course. And look, I've heard all the doubts as well. I've heard people say, "Oh, I don't belong here. That was a dumb move." But the thing is, failure is just feedback. It tells you what didn't work and what should work. I started seeing failures not as dead ends, but as signposts. The real question isn't what if I fail, but what will I learn if I try? I mean, once I made that mindset shift and I exactly knew what I need to focus on, these problems never came in my life. There are new problems which come in my life. When now, I work in a systematic order to resolve and investigate and, get a solution for that issue. If I can't do it alone, I'll involve a team member because I'm not Superman at the end of the day. I also need, to communicate and discuss and get the right guidance. So let me ask a few of you, those winners in the meeting. What do you guys think of the course that I gave you?
Straightforward.
The DevOps course?
Yes.
When you said to me it was brain friendly, it is just that. And because I have an IT background, it's just, it sucks. I suck it up like a sponge. Another thing,
It's synchronizing like it's just made for you, right?
oh my God. And a lot of it is review. And even though I saw it before, I looked at the video anyway, and I picked up a couple of kernels that I learned something. So even though it says, "Oh, I've seen that before," I still look at the video and I look at
Yeah.
it again, and then it really absorbs. And just really quickly, the things that I do to learn, I'm gonna do it real quick. So I don't, when I'm learning something, I don't test myself at the end. I'm quizzing myself while I'm learning. For example, I'll learn something and I'll say, well, how do you string two commands together? And so I'm testing myself. Another thing is that I focus with no distractions and I set a time to study. So, and that helps me a lot. There's no phone, no nothing. Another thing is I don't study for like 3 hours all on in. That is very ineffective. You study 20 minutes, you walk away for 5 minutes, do something else, come back. But because you get into overload. So and I have the Pomodoro, I mentioned it on chat. I have the Pomodoro application that reminds me. So I study in chunks. And then I walk away and get a 10-minute walk. So I see some people sitting for long stretches of time. It doesn't work. Also, regarding this course, they're in 3, 4, 10-minute sections, which is perfect. You get a 3-minute section on bash scripting, boom. You get a 3-minute section on Linux, boom. And then after that 3 minutes, you absorb it. So learning in chunks is very effective, and I've actually experienced that. So that's what I want to say about the course. Excellent. I love it. I can't get enough of it.
That's fantastic. I mean, I've had enough of looking at courses which are like one video is 4 hours long, and my mind auto rejects it. My mind auto rejects it. My mind says, okay, because I know how the brain works. So the brain needs to watch the movie first, right? And when the second time you watch it, you exactly know what happened. So that's when you're adding emotions to it, right? So I'm not even able to add emotions in the 4-hour lecture. So do you think if my mentor advised me, hey, Ali, every video you go through, you need to watch it twice and never take notes on the first time, always take notes on the second time. So when I watch it the first time and I said to myself, that's 4 hours. So if I watch it again, that's 8 hours. That's my whole day gone. And I've only learned about how a device connect with another device in 4 hours? Really? And this guy has been just blabbering about IP address, subnets, and repeating it all over and over again, because he can get paid and people can, pay him a heavy amount of cost to buy his course. No, that's not how it works. Why do you think AW has so many courses for free? Well, go on Skill Builder. Their one video is about 5 to 10 minutes. And then you can pause and you can come back and resume the session. Why do you think they are the global leaders in the world? For a reason, right? Because they follow these scientific facts as well for health and safety on how the brain works and how one can learn. But then there are other markets online and businesses who just want to take your money. They don't care end of the day if you achieve anything. They just want their money. And once they've got their money, it's you on your own. And then you feel like it's gonna take me 8 months to do this course. And one video is literally like 4 hours long. Or let's say you buy a Udemy course, you let's say they've broken down into sections, but only 4 videos has the practical inside it, and 6 of them has the theory, which they keep repeating and keep talking about it. And end of the day, what our mind does, it gets overwhelmed because our mind is designed for our safety and well-being. And our mind starts, rejecting that, hey, if I keep on doing this, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. I at least need to have a job on site and do this on the side. But when you do this on the side, you realize you have no energy because the course is too long and it's too much information. So the best strategy to learn, but before you even learn, can I recommend you guys a book, everyone here? It's a non-technical book, by the way, guys. And it's got stories of Einstein, the founder of Ford. It's got real stories of real people who made a difference in the world and blueprints that are still being followed in the world. Some great minds are mentioned in that book, and anyone who reads that book, they actually live their life in a better way. And if you guys are interested, I have a movie on that book as well. Maybe one day we can watch that movie together on Zoom. I can't share it because it's got rights on it, so I can't share it like that. And the book is called Think and Grow Rich. I want you all to write this down. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This will be the best book you have ever read in your life. I can guarantee you that. It will open so many chromosomes in your brain. It will open so many neurons in your brain. It will help you speak in your interviews. It will help you speak with your partner. It will help you speak with your kid. It will help you speak with your father. It will help you speak in the market. It will uh, help you be likable when you speak to someone because it will change your personality. What has it got? It's got facts on how to actually become successful in this life. It's got plans you can use with any industry. So I highly recommend everyone buying that core book. It's on Amazon or bookstores as well. It's a very popular book. It's like a successful person's Bible, to be very honest. So make sure you all invest in that book, read it in the morning so you can start your day in a positive way, and read it before bedtime. So when you go sleep, you wake up energized because it's like your brain food. Your brain needs food as well, right? And it doesn't need AWS. It doesn't need Linux. So what does your brain need? Your brain needs healthy content, which will help your brain work more effectively when you're actually learning AWS. or a new technology you've never faced. But if your mindset is already ready to take new information in a way that your mind allows it, how will that work? You need to go through the book and it will all make sense to you. So let's make this session more interactive. It's the last thing I want to do with you guys. I want to test you all. I want to see the current level you guys are on. So I'm going to say 10 items, right? I'm going to say 10 items and don't use your pen. Don't write it down. That's cheating. That's cheating, guys. Don't write it down. So I'm going to give you 10 items and I want you to remember them in the same order. It may sound silly, but there's a reason behind it, especially if you want big results in life. So item number 1, monitor. Item number 2, keyboard. Item number 3, um, t-shirt. Item number 4, what do you write with? Pen. So pen. And hang on. So how many have we got so far? 4, right? So item number 5, California. Item number 6, elephant. Item number 7, dog, because I love dogs. Item number 8, cat. So I like cats too. Item number 9, um, artificial intelligence. And the last one is shoes. So I can see a few people writing down. That's cheating. Say cheating will never give you results because you're not cheating to the speaker, you're cheating to yourself. But anyways, who'd like to go first?
I really want to do it first.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. So the first is monitor.
Yep.
Second is keyboard.
Okay.
Third is t-shirt.
Yep.
Fourth is pen.
Yep.
Fifth is California.
Okay.
Sixth, elephant.
Okay.
Dog.
Yeah.
Cat.
Yeah.
Number 9. Last one is number 10 is shoes. The number 9 time.
The robot wearing shoes.
Yeah, AI. It's artificial intelligence.
Okay, that's great. And what did you do to remember it?
Just visualizing an imaginary world.
Okay, that's good. You got a good memory, so I can see you're on a good level to memorize stuff. So that's really good.
So, thank you.
Anyone else like to go next?
I'll try. I'm not looking at the chat. Chat's not open. So monitor, keyboard.
I only saw the chat when I just forget the AI option, the artificial intelligence. It just come up with on the chat.
Oh, Harmit has typed it down, so I can't go with this choice.
Yeah, I'm not looking at the chat. Let's see if I can try.
I trust you on that one. Yeah, man, go on.
Monitor, keyboard, mouse, t-shirt, California. Dog, cat, shoe, artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that's good. You remembered it. There are a few ones you missed, but that's okay.
Ali brother,
So
can I talk? Mohammed Irfan.
if you like to go next, yeah, go ahead.
Monitor, keyboard, and then T-shirt, pen, then California, and after that elephant, cat, dog, AI, artificial intelligence, and shoes.
That's it. So yeah, thank you guys, thank you everyone. So the reason for me doing this exercise is because let's say your CEO comes in the room and he gives you six names. You guys need to work with XYZ, NYPD, FBI, uh, Apple, uh, Android, Google, Microsoft, and CrowdStrike. You guys need to send them an email immediately, and the CEO is out, right? Because he was tensed, he was pressurized, and he said six company names, and he told the department to go and send email, and no one can go back and say, can you please repeat that, right? So how can we remember this? So let's say a CEO came and said FBI. Straight away you need to associate it. So you need to use your associate memory. So FBI, police. He said police. And also give it a number. One. Number one, police is equals to FBI. So I can remember it. Now I know that I associated FBI with something. I gave it a picture in my mind. Okay, FBI, police. CrowdStrike. Crowd had the biggest cybersecurity issue a few months back. That's number two. And then I can associate it. What was number two? Number two was the biggest IT issue. Oh, that's CrowdStrike. So that's how you can use your associate memory and relate it to creating a picture in your mind, giving it a subtitle. For example, shoes. So where do you normally wear shoes? When you go to work or when you go to a formal party or a wedding, you wear shoes. So I remember shoes from wedding. So that's how you need to associate things. So if you're working on, let's say, a command line on Linux, so what's the command to disable a user because the user has been terminated? Right? So you can associate with that with termination, and then you'll remember that command because you've typed, every time you typed it, you've said to yourself, I'm terminating this user. You're associating it with the memory, with the emotion. And emotion is so powerful that if you put emotion into anything, you will never ever forget that thing. All you have to do is tell your brain about that day, about that emotion, and your brain will give you the complete story A to Z, just how when you watch Titanic. So that's how we need to be doing our IT learning, and avoid courses which are draining you. Find courses which you think your brain is actually learning from. Read reviews. See if people are getting jobs after doing that course, or people are just doing that course and not many people are getting results. So do that as well. The best way to do this is connect with an industry expert. And when I say industry expert, is not a trainer. It's actually a team lead of a cloud department managing 50 people, working as junior cloud, junior DevOps engineers. They are the people who will give you real roadmaps and real guidance. Obviously, you can't ask silly YouTube questions. like, can you give me a roadmap? But you can ask, hey, what technologies does your department use? What does the cloud team use? What does the DevOps team use? What does the cloud security teams uses? What monitoring tools do you guys use? So you have all different departments for all different areas. But if we just focus on cloud engineers, what do they work on? And then you will realize they only work on 4 areas. And here I am learning 16 things. So we just need to be mindful of these things. So let me summarize the session we had today. So we discussed about memory association is how the brain connects new information to something you already know. Making it easier to remember. For example, you remember someone's name by associating it with something familiar or someone who looks like them. Memory markers are landmarks that help categorize information for quicker recall. Finally, memory hangers allow you to attach data to memorable images or phrases. This is why visual aids and stories are so effective for learning. So your brain is like a muscle. When overloaded, it shuts down or processes information slower. So prioritize your learning that directly applies to your goal. So you need to have a clear plan, a clear goal. So when you're learning an area, you know it's the part of your goal, you know it's the part of your action plan. So that your brain doesn't block out and distract and causes distraction for you to, hey, you're feeling hungry, you need to go in the kitchen. So this makes your learning journey more efficient when your brain knows what's critical for you. So don't let the brain make the decision for you. Make the decision for your brain. Because the brain will always take the easy way out. So what's the scientific insight in this? So there is a effect called I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like Zeigarnik. So it's Zeigarnik. Zeigarnik. So it's a psychological principle where people remember uncompleted tasks better than the completed ones. So people do not remember the task they've completed, but they remember the one that did not complete it. Why? Because it's got emotional. Hey, I can get in trouble with this. So you see why you remember that? Because that's got emotion and you know it's critical, but you still haven't done it. So overloading your brain leads to too many loops, causing stress and reducing learning efficiency. Working hard doesn't always equal progress. A lot of people spend years in their career moving sideways, not upwards. This happens because they focus on doing more, not doing better, and not doing it smartly. Without a solid learning process, you're just spinning your wheels and not moving forward. Today's approach has taught you how to reverse engineer your own career growth by learning exactly what you need to move and go upwards in your career. Why do so many people struggle after getting certified? Is because traditional learning doesn't teach us how to apply knowledge. School teaches memorization, but in the IT world, that's not how things work. Employers want comprehensive demonstration, not just ability to pass a test, not ability to make jokes or communicate and make everyone laugh. You need to understand how things work and practice, and that's something you can only create by learning, by knowing how your brain processes new information. The brain has 2 types of memory, declarative fact-based, and procedural on how-to knowledge. So fact-based and how-to knowledge. So the traditional learning focuses on declarative memory, but IT professionals need more how-to knowledge memory to solve real-world problems. And today we also learned about breaking our old habits and rewiring our brain and making it more smarter and effective when learning new technologies. So neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to recognize itself by forming new connections. Remember we learned about neurons? So neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to recognize itself by forming new connections, by intentionally breaking old habits and forming new ones. You can literally reshape how your brain functions, make learning faster and more effective. So breaking down larger concepts into smaller makes it easy to digest, synchronize. You can then test what you've learned immediately. This keeps the knowledge fresh and functional. This technique will help you stand out in your role as someone who doesn't know on how to actually learn and apply it. So you need to find your current level. You need to know your limits. So if you know your limits, that, okay, I can spend 3 hours in a day. Stay in your limits. Don't go for 6 hours. Because you might do that for a day, but then the third day, your brain will say, let's not go there. Because yesterday I wasted my whole day, and this might repeat again. So stay with a plan which works for you, and stay in the limits which is giving you results. Find your current level and push just beyond your comfort zone, but do not cross your limits. And that's where real growth happens, both in learning, in your career, and in your life. So there is a scientific term called ZPD, zone of proximal development. It is a concept that highlights the sweet spot of learning tasks that are just out of reach, but achievable if you do it in certain ways and efforts. So staying in this zone ensures steady and sustainable progress. So someday you might not understand something. Okay, that's fine. Wrap it up. Come back with fresh eyes, fresh mind, have some rest, and it might make more sense to you. And if it still doesn't, do some research on that. So learning isn't just about absorbing new information. It's also about applying it to your work and your life and changing your life to becoming a better you. The biggest takeaway from today's session, I think, is learning how to learn and how to actually unlock your potential and who you should be surrounding yourself, who you should be questioning, and how you should be approaching your learning styles. So that's it from me, guys, for today's session. Just to let you all know, tomorrow we have an industry expert coming, right? So he has over 10 years of experience. He's worked in literally in every department. He's a team lead, he's a technical speaker, and he's probably a future CEO. So if you guys have any questions, have the question ready for him tomorrow. You guys want a roadmap, you guys want to know what exactly you should be focusing on, he'll have the answer for you. So that's why I've invited Kevin to speak to you all tomorrow. And if you want proper advice, proper engine advice from a team lead engineer, not a trainer. He's also a trainer, but he is in the industry as well. He's actually training veterans, army people, and other cybersecurity people as well, and people in his company. He's also uh, working in a few different areas. So he will be one of the best people for you guys to ask questions on what you guys should focus on when it comes to jobs when it comes to IT and like what topics you guys should be learning. So make sure you guys don't miss out. I think it's around 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Yeah, so that's it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If anyone has any questions, you can raise your hand or type in chat. Yeah, I guess that was a lot of information for everyone. This session will be recorded, and make sure you all buy the book called Think and Grow Rich. It's not about actually, I don't want to spoil it for you. I want you to, read it yourself. It's a beautiful book. I'm just gonna stop the recording. So thank you all for coming, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.